Hey guys, it's Kerry, and in this video we're going to be looking at list in Python 3. So as you might guess, a list, just so you can see what I'm saying, a list is a way of storing multiple values in a single variable. So I have an example of a list to the left, and I'm going to show you how to encode this in Python. So here we've got a list of math teachers at our school, and so maybe what you would do is you'd say math teachers equals the same way you normally define a variable. But in order to define math teachers as all of these teachers, to set up a list, you use a square bracket. So a square bracket looks like this. That is a different symbol than parentheses, which is a different symbol than curly brackets. The one you want is the square brackets. So now to put all of these items in the list, it's sort of what you might think. You basically put each one individually, like Carrie in double quotes, and then to put the next item, you'd put Joe in double quotes. And so we've got a list of strings. Make sure the commas go outside, separating each of the items. So here we go. I'm just going to finish typing this in. So we'll have all of the math teachers at our school. Oops, Christina doesn't spell her name like that. It's like this. Alicia and Josh. So to make sure that we've got the right number of math teachers here, I'm going to be doing two things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to print out the math teachers, and then I'm going to print out the length of math teachers. And length works exactly like how it did for strings, but instead of telling us how many characters are in the word, it's going to tell us how many entries are in the list. So how many entries, or how many items are in the list. So let's see how this looks when we run it. So I'm going to open up my terminal, zoom in a bit, push it over here, Python3, drag the file over from here to here, and run it. So when you print out the list, it will just print out exactly what you see here, and then 8 is correct. There are 8 teachers, math teachers at our school. So the next thing I want to show you guys is how you might pick out a specific teacher. So let's say that you wanted to pick out Gerald from this list. So the way you would think to pick out Gerald from this list, let's see, picking out a specific item. So the way you might think to pick out Gerald would be to say something like print, then go into the math teachers list, and how do we select Gerald? So you might think Gerald is the 1, 2, 3rd entry in the list. Let's see what happens though. So print math teachers, and then we're going to use the square brackets again, and if we try it with 3, let's see what happens. So let me clear this out actually first. Clear it. So we get we get the list, we get 8, and then when we picked out math teachers 3, it actually doesn't give us Gerald as we guessed. It gave us Shazia, which is weird because Shazia is the 4th math teacher, and we use these square brackets to say to print out the 3rd math teacher. So here is the reason why that happened. When we start labeling the items in a list, instead of starting with Carrie being the first item, in computer science, in many programming languages in computer science, the first item is going to be the 0th item. The next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we wanted to print out Gerald, visually he looks like the 3rd teacher in the list, but he actually corresponds to the teacher at list index 2. So to print out Gerald, we would do print math teachers 2. So when we do that, let me comment out these print math teachers and print the length of math teachers. So now we get just Gerald. If we want to get just Alicia, she is the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th math teacher in the list. So we would do print math teachers 6, and that would be Alicia. To print out Carrie, he's the 1st math teacher in the list, so we would do print out math teachers with the list index 0. So we would get the 1st math teacher, Carrie, which is the 0th, I guess, math teacher. All right, so let's say that we wanted to get the first 3 math teachers. So Carrie, Joe, Gerald. The way that you can do that is instead of putting a single number in these brackets, you'll use a very similar sentence or a very similar line of code, which is you'll go from 0 up until, so you want to get 0, 1, and 2. And the syntax is a little bit strange here. You have to overshoot it by 1. So if you want to get 0, 1, and 2, then what you have to do is you have to say print out math teachers from 0 to 3. So let's clear this out. And that gives us all the way from 0 to 3, not including the third one. So this doesn't have to start at 0. Let's say we wanted to print out Gerald through Christina. What we would do is we would say start at 2 and go all the way up to 1 past Christina. We want to go up to 6 because it doesn't include this last digit. So here we go. Clear it out, run it, and we get Gerald up through Christina, which is exactly what we wanted. So this is called a slicing from a list because you're taking a small slice out of that list. Okay, so now we know how to pick out single items like this, how to pick out smaller groups. What are some other things we could do with lists? So here's a nice example. So let's say we've got our math teachers at the school. Let's say we hire a new math teacher. How could we do that? So the way that you can do that is you can do, let's see if this works, mathTeachers.append, and then let's put the name of our new math teacher. So maybe the name of our new math teacher is, I don't know, Sky. My dog will hire him. And then let's print out math teachers. So clear it. So here we go. So math teacher starts off being the list that it used to be. Then we do mathTeachers.append Sky, and it looks like at the very end of the list, Sky has been hired. If we wanted to hire another math teacher, let's do mathTeachers.append another one. Let's see, I don't know, Alex, clear it. Now we've appended Sky and then Alex, so you'll notice that append adds a list item to the end of the list. So append adds a new item to the list. Okay, great. So if we can add items, we might also want to be able to fire teachers. So to fire teachers, we're going to do mathTeachers.remove. So let's see. Let's start off by firing Carrie. So if we remove Carrie, it should get rid of Carrie from the list. Let's see. So now Carrie is nowhere to be found in the list because he's been removed. Sky should also probably be fired. I don't think my dog would make a very good teacher, so let's fire Sky. So now Sky has been fired, so we're back down to 8 math teachers. All good. So there are some other things that we can do with list. So we've seen how to add new items. We've seen how to remove items from a list. What else can we do with list? Let's see. So one nice thing is you can actually sort a list. So let's say that we wanted to sort our list of math teachers here. I'm going to actually revert back to the original list of math teachers. So I'm just commenting out all those lines of code. So if I do mathTeachers.sort, what this will do, let's see. So when we do mathTeachers.sort, it sorts our math teachers into a nice alphabetical list. I guess that's the way that you would sort names, right? If you had numbers, it would probably sort them from least to greatest number. So that's mathTeachers.sort. If we wanted to reverse it after sorting, so it started with Sharon, there's a nice command, mathTeachers.reverse. So here we go. Let me clear it out. So now it sorts them from Alicia down to Sharon, and then it reverses it because of the mathTeacher.reverse, and it goes from Sharon down to Alicia. So as it's doing all of this, of course, these old list indice values don't apply anymore. So let's see. If we want to get Josh, Josh is now in the 0, 1, 2 position. So you'd have to print out math teachers from the 2 position, which would be Josh. Okay, one more application that might be nice is you can count multiple entries. So let's say you had another list. So instead of math teachers, let me just call this letters. So letters is equal to H, E, L, L, O, W, O. Oh man, this is taking me so long to type out. R, L, D. What you might want to do is you might want to count how many times a certain entry appears in this list. So to do that, what you can do is you can print out letters.count, and let's count how many L's there are in this list. So clear this and Python3. Let's see, there are 3 L's, so 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, so we have a couple minutes left in the video, I think. So